I'm Carla Matmati. I'm 24 years old, and you would never believe how much life I've lived in those 24 years. When I was 14, I was molested at school. It made me feel like I was nothing. It made me feel dirty. I was just hurting so badly. I didn't care what kind of friends I had, just as long as I was accepted. I really, really love music. I started playing the viola. I think I started singing later. I started playing professionally when I was 14. If I was first chair in the symphony or did well in competitions, that I felt like I was something. That's really the only time that I felt special. I went away to college. I did pretty well at first, but I started partying. We had a party in our apartment, and I ended up getting date raped. I honestly thought my life was over. Completely over. I didn't know how to walk through it. I didn't know how to just be a normal person. I was living in a nightmare. I would have done anything at that point to escape what I was feeling. I had started drinking a lot, really heavily. If anything I could get my hands on, I would do. I had tried drugs, marijuana to cocaine. So at night, if I wasn't out at a party, I would just be up, or I would pace. One night I was in the hallway just by myself. I just heard a voice say, "I still want you." And every time I say that, I feel it all over again. Because I had a realization, an instant realization that Jesus and God, the God that created everything in the whole world, wanted me. He was telling me that he wanted me, and that he had still wanted me. And so I had knelt down and I said to him, "Jesus, I don't want to die anymore, I want to live." I woke up the next morning and I was happy. I had never felt happiness like that before in my life. I was changed, and that it was because of Jesus. And it was because he wanted me. I had completely stopped doing drugs and sleeping around and drinking and everything. I had met somebody who I thought was a really good Christian. He had pursued me for a long time and wanted to date me, and we had gotten in a relationship, then we had gotten engaged, and then just out of nowhere, in his house, he actually ended up raping me. My initial way of dealing with it was to pretend like it never happened. I didn't know how to be that woman that it happened to a second time. For a little while, I really questioned God, because it would have been really easy to go back to drinking and to drugs after being raped a second time by somebody who was supposed to love me. And it had crossed my mind, but immediately I just knew none of those things ever worked, and the only thing that ever worked was Jesus. I would pray, I would just say, "Jesus, I need you," until the pain went away. And eventually, probably a year or so later, someone pointed out that I wasn't the same. I had realized that he had started healing me, healing my heart. I had a friend at the time who was traveling with Eddie James, and they needed a singer, and Eddie had heard a little bit about what I had gone through and wanted to try to help me out. So I went to audition to sing with Eddie James, and I ended up traveling on the road with him for 4 years. And after he had heard my testimony, he had me share my testimony at different churches and conferences and places. I love the way that Jesus loves me in my weakness. We give him all of our junk, we give him all of our pain, and he gives us joy and peace. When it's all said and done, when everything has happened, it's all done, that was the road. As bad as it is, as rough as it is, that was the path that led me ultimately to Jesus, into knowing him, into feeling his love. I just have everything that I thought I never could have. I have a wonderful husband, I have a 5-month-old little girl, I lead worship for children, and Some of my best memories in life are when I can put my arms around somebody and I was able to pray for them and start them on the process of their own healing and restoration and their own walk with Jesus.